All right. We're back to another Chew Quieter podcast. This is no longer a test. This is the real thing.
Yeah, episode 1. This is for reals. No more fakies.
So, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the text message I got from you yesterday. I think it was yesterday that you hate yacht rock.
Yes, I hate yacht rock.
What's that about? How can you hate yacht rock? It's like the most pleasant, peaceful, charming, just relaxing genre of music that you can hang out with, you know?
Um, it's just growing up in that era. There's so much good music, and the music they choose to put in there. Yes, it's relaxing. Yes, it has like a smooth tone. It's basically elevator music for the era. Um, so funny thing is that my wife loves yacht rock also. And this past Saturday night, we went out to the casino down in Sahuarita and saw Ambrosia and Firefall. Um, yeah, it's awesome. But the funny thing is, going in there, one of the singers was like, "Yeah, we're part of this yacht rock genre, but we have this really great music that's not really yacht rock." And some of their other songs are really good music, like of the era, like that fit really well. And then their number one song was just whatever we could play in an elevator.
See, the thing that's funny is it just was classified as yacht rock recently.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be called adult contemporary or soft rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it changed. I think I'm blaming Sirius XM for changing the genre name because they came out with that station, yacht rock station. So I'm going to blame them, but I don't know how they came about that name or classifying such and such band with such and such band as being that genre. I just don't know, but it
and,
works.
and it's weird. The I don't hate the artist, or not necessarily. I hate every song that's on there. It's just the whole idea of continually like the same elevator music. I think it just gets to me. I don't find it enjoyable at all.
I I have a hard time hearing that just because I love it. I'll be in my garage.
I
I'll be in my garage organizing or working or doing something in the or garage, and I'll have yacht rock going.
Oh yeah, no. See, me, it's Rick Ross or some sort of hip hop.
I'm starting to get into more of the hip hop stuff. I actually just saw a documentary about Jelly Roll, which is pretty good.
Oh, did you watch that? I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, I didn't know he was so deep. I didn't really know his music, to be honest with you. So after hearing or putting the face to the music, I was like, oh, I've heard that song. I didn't know that was him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny
Actually, I don't know
that
if you'd call that. I don't know if you'd call him hip hop though.
he's more hip hop than, I mean, he's changing more to pure ballad and country, but older stuff, stuff that he did with Struggle and Little White is more of the hip hop side of it. But if you've listened to him for any amount of time, I think like 5 years, we rented a cabin for Sheriff's Jeep, and Andrew Bailey came out. Chambliss was out there. Jason Rogers, and all of us shared this cabin, and we're sitting there listening to music. And they introduced me to. It was I'm trying to think what was the station. It was Blackberry Smoke, Upchurch, and a few others that weekend. And I was just like amazed, and I was like, "Oh, I love this music!" And that's like my go-to now. Is anything in that genre I can go to. And then of course just classic rock is always my go-to when there's ever anyone around. And then my music taste is just all over the place. So but it seems like more and more in the truck it's automatically on the hip hop.
Yeah, I think the majority of what I listen to is '90s rap, '90s hip hop, just because that's what I grew up with mostly. Well, what I wanted to listen to, but in my house we listened to a lot of um, that adult contemporary, which is kind of funny that I grew
Mm-hmm.
up with it, so I still love it. Um, there was a lot of salsa, like Fania. I think that's what it was called, Fania All Stars. Hector
Not
Hec,
familiar with.
Hector Lavoe, Pancho Sanchez, a lot of Latin jazz stuff like that. Um, there was a lot of that going on. My dad was in a band, so um,
Okay.
music was the thing in my house.
Yeah, and for me, same. It was primarily. I'm a little older than you, so it was '70s. So a lot of rock music, and then some country. Country had its urban cowboy insurgents back then. So I grew up with some country, and always had country on my scope somewhere. 90s country is probably one of my favorite genres. Just at what they call prime country on XM Sirius now. But I grew up with everything. 80s, the rap going back to like old K-Day days in LA.
Oh,
Like old school, like beginning of rap, like liking rappers before my friends were like, "Who the hell you listen to?" Like I wanted to go see Ice-T at a concert in like 85 or 86, 86. And my friends were like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, what the hell is this about?" So I just was always into that genre from early age. Like, I mean, we're talking Grandmaster, Melly Mel, like Toddy T, like all the old school stuff is kind of what I got into and what I really like. And um, being a young kid in Southern California, that was really the most popular music out there. You had the club music and stuff like that, but for me, it was a little more underground. That had the rap music coming up that wasn't on any real radios. You had to like try to find a station and listen to static or whatever from where I lived.
well, for me, I had a job as a kid. My dad forced me to learn early that you earn your money type of thing. So I worked at the swap meet, and
Okay.
I would take my money and I would go down to the little music booth and I would buy my NWA cassette.
Mm-hmm.
I took that home. That was my first uh, rap record album, whatever you want to call it, that I had ever bought by myself. And I was able to buy it because it was at the swap meet. Had it been at a store, probably wouldn't have been able to because I wasn't 18. They had that advisory.
Oh, you already had parental advisory.
Yeah. So I take it home. I'm listening to it in my room, and mom walks in and she hears, fuck this and fuck that and bitch this and bitch that. Grabs the tape, and that was it for that one. Yep. Until I got a little bit older, then.
Yeah, I think it was a little more mellow when I first started. It wasn't really so much of the gangster rap side. It was more of still truer rap roots back then. It was more dissing and whatever didn't turn into the FU and all that hadn't really started yet. Not that I don't like that, but
It was more like you're listening to more of Houdini and stuff like that, right?
well, yeah, the old school. Yeah. But doesn't mean that I didn't go see NWA and a few other groups at the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim when they came out. And my buddy John worked for Music Plus back then.
Oh man,
and got us like second row tickets to this concert, which we had no business being there. And there's a guy in the parking structure with a duffel bag full of shirts. They're all just bootleg shirts, NWA shirts, and he's got a knife in one hand and grabbing cash and throwing shirts out from the other hand, just slicing people that are trying to snatch shirts.
Can you even buy CDs anymore? I wonder.
I don't even know. I mean, there's no music stores anymore, so there's funny things. There's a resurgence of vinyl. Even at Walmart, there's a vinyl section now.
Yeah, that's been going on for the last, I'd say, 10 years. A resurgence in vinyl collection and production.
Yeah, and it's funny is the idea of getting a CD or even having a CD. I just ordered a new USB card for my my desktop, and it came with a CD.
Oh my God!
It's like, who the hell has a CD to even do an install of one of these things?
I only have one just because my computer is the body of it is a little over 10 years old, so I was still having to burn DVDs back then. And I've upgraded it, since then. So it still has the writer in there. I never took it out, just in case, I guess.
I think 5-6 years ago, I had a laptop that I ordered and it didn't come with there's no media drives in it, so I had to get a external CD drive. I think that's sitting in the office closet now, but. I mean, I don't even know. I've plugged that thing up in 5 years. I think I bought it for one thing and that was it.
When we moved from Colorado to Tennessee, I sold my DVD player, my Blu-ray player, thinking to myself, all we do is stream. We're never going to need this again. Sold the DVD, sold the Blu-ray player, the Blu-rays and everything else. And then when we moved into our new house, for whatever reason, the internet was never hooked up. The fiber was never ran. So it took them almost 3 months to get us anything out here. And we didn't have any streaming, no TV, nothing that whole time. And I wanted to just go on Amazon and buy a cheap DVD player and grab a whole bunch of Blu-rays or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because it's only going to be a one-time thing.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I get crap for. I have 3 totes in the cabinets in my garage. One is CDs, and it's a big tote, and it's packed full of CDs. Most covers are gone, and it's just in jackets. Remember the little envelope, the little envelopes that unfolded as you're driving, trying to grab a CD to throw into the truck.
Yep.
Got 4 or 5 of those in there, and then just CDs everywhere. There's a box of VHS tapes and a VCR, a box of DVDs, and a DVD player. And most of them are kids' movies, stuff from my oldest when she was young, and the little one coming through kind of had some of that stuff. But I get it all the time. Like we go there to try to find something. Why do you still have these? Why do you still have these? I'm like, because one day we might want to have this time to play with them, and so.
Do you happen to have the Little Mermaid VHS with the dick imprinted in the cover? Do you remember that? It was in the castle.
No, I believe we have Little Mermaid on a CD, on a DVD, not on a VHS. I have a bunch of other old Disney movies on the VHS.
So a long time ago, when they first imprinted Little Mermaid on a VHS, there was a castle in the background, and there was an image of a dick in the castle, and they pulled it. And now, if you find that artwork anywhere, it's valuable, from what I understand.
It's worth money now.
Yeah.
That's I don't have one of those, but I have a bunch of VHS. So what's funny is that I like to watch Disney movies from way back then. So I had a collection of all these DVDs. And when I first met Kim, she was like, you have a kid or something. How do you have all these kid movies and kid videos? I'm like, oh, just have to understand who I am to figure that one out.
You know what's wild is we get so much shit these days for driving and talking on the cell phone at the same time, but no one realizes the dangers that we had of flipping through your CD book while you're driving,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find the right CD to listen to while you're pulling up to your girlfriend's house or pulling up to school or something like that.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I had 3 or 4 of those sleeves and books up there, and 100 CDs in each one, and it was like, how do you drive with that? It's a total distraction.
Yeah. I had probably, I know I had at least one of the big thick ones, and then I had a smaller one, just like the one sleeve type.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, driving around with it, and it was dangerous because people always broke into your vehicle to steal them. I can't tell you how many times I had one of them stolen,
Yep.
especially growing up in LA.
Or when we used to walk around the Montebello Town Center with the Kenwood radio
The
with the
pullouts.
handle, the pullout, walking around. And then it got better. It was just the face came out, and then they could steal all the body and try to figure out the face. But it was too much.
Man, we also those things around the same time we had the car phones that were the same size as the pull-out radios, and then a couple of years later they evolved to the Zach Morris phone, that brick phone.
The brick.
And if you had one of those, you were like the man. You had a brick phone, everyone was like, dude, let me use your phone really quick.
Yeah, I had a friend that had one. It was always not bricked. What do they call it? It was all open, so it was like mimicking someone else's phone, so he could make all the calls he wanted, and he could never get an incoming call, so he had a pager still.
Yeah, it was cloned,
and then he'd call out. Yeah, the clone. That's what it was. Cloned.
Yeah. Those were the days. We can get away with so much shit back then.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had all kinds of criminality back then.
And now we got cameras everywhere. We have things that just follow you virtually and socially, and it sucks. But we could turn it all off. We could turn. Oh, dude. Okay, so I'm in this chat, right? And Matt Loxley loves to just throw out the word penis for whatever reason. He just loves the word.
No way, Matt. Never.
Yeah,
I've never heard him say that.
Matt loves penis. So all of a sudden, I'm watching Hulu, and I'm getting more and more ads for penis commercials. Erectile dysfunction, Peyronie's disease, all kinds of shit. And I'm like, it's because of Matt and his penis. They listen to conversations. They look at text messages.
Oh yeah.
I got a Google message the other day, like, hey, last year you were at this location also. I'm like, how the hell did you know? I need to turn you off.
Location services. Yeah. Yeah. You just did this. You just came there. You just watched this. Memories from back when. Hey, you want to see this? Want to do that?
All I did was stop in for a Snickers bar and a Fanta, and all of a sudden I'm getting a reminder.
No, you can't do that anymore. They track it. Put in your rewards card. They'll just track you by your email address and your phone number. Whatever.
And the thing that really sucks is anytime that you're online and you fill out an application for something, or you put in your email address for to check out somewhere or something, all of a sudden that leaves a trace, and next thing you know, you're getting spam.
Mm-hmm. That's digital marketing. It's what my business is built off of.
But they somehow managed from going from spamming you on the phone, from the 70s with telemarketing, to spamming you this way now and text message. It's insane.
Yep.
Can't get away from it.
No, not at all. I had a conversation with one of my clients last week. He just bought a toolbox for the shop, and it was a nice tool bench, workbench type of thing, has drawers and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, I bought this thing, and these guys targeted me, and I got an ad. I started searching for stuff, and I go, this is exactly what we're going to do with ads. And I hadn't done a lot of Facebook ads with him. We do more Google stuff with them. It hadn't really merged over to Facebook ads. And he's like, how is this happening? These guys like know everything. And I go, this is what good targeting is going to get you. You know, we put an ad it, and we're going to do good targeting. We're going to make sure that we're hitting the people that are looking for something similar to this, that have specific needs and wants and desires, and we're going to start targeting them. So they start talking or searching or whatever on these things. That's when your ad shows up. So you're not just blindly targeting the side of the freeway with a product that most people don't even want. We're trying to look for a little better group to help come to your site.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense. I'll get marketing stuff sent to me sometimes that has no relevance, and wondering how the hell did I even get this? Like, I don't need tampons.
Well, it has to do with a lot of different factors too. Just because you listen to Yacht Rock, then they believe you might need tampons.
That's fucked up. Because now I'm going to have to go buy tampons. I'm not getting rid of my Yacht Rock. It's just something about the Doobie Brothers at 4 p.m. that I love so much.
See, I love the Doobie Brothers. I just don't like the songs that they choose to put of the Doobie Brothers on the Yacht Rock station. It's just like not my favorite.
You can't, there's no way anyone can ever not like Michael McDonald. I mean, that man's voice is angelic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people out there that you can be dead for 3 years and wake up from the dead and still remember, oh, that's Michael McDonald's voice. Or that's Kenny Loggins. That's Christopher Cross.
Peter Cetera.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's just some voices out there that are so distinct. And I think that's why it's funny. Some of these bands that come out these days, they all sound the same because they're just trying to follow that same script that made other people successful.
Yep.
It's just rubber stamping the same thing over and over again. It's kind of gross.
But it's everywhere though. Like, you just look at the new upcoming videos and movies and shows. They're all rehashed old stuff that's coming out. There's not very many that are new shows. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to redo what I just see they're redoing. Well, they just released the Mermaid, The Little Mermaid, an old movie, and redid that. The Fresh Prince has a remake now that's more dramatic and I don't know, cinematic, I guess. I don't know what you call it. I haven't seen it, but there's like so much just, well, you could have done something new. Let's go for something new.
Is it just me or just the new Little Mermaid? Are her eyes like 10 feet apart? Have you seen a picture?
I haven't even seen it.
Next time you have the opportunity, in fact, right now, go Google it. The new Little Mermaid, Ariel. Her eyes are like she looks like a salamander. It's so weird.
Well, I'm not in front of my computer right now. I just have the phone out here right now, so I'll have to pull out the. We'll have to do this on the laptop or the computer next time. I gotta clean my office and reconfigure some stuff. It was kind of a mess in there the last time, so that's why I'm out here in the front room.
I know what you have seen, and that is Joe Biden falling again.
Yes, I have seen that.
Oh my goodness. And I saw him fall and I'm like, oh my God, don't get hurt. We don't need Camel Toe Harris to just start waving her magical pin and giving us word salads.
Yeah, that's just a train wreck. The whole thing is just kind of a train wreck. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I love Donald Trump and I'm like the number one Trump supporter, but I do appreciate the fact that we had a businessman running the country like a business and not like a freaking sponge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think about all these new guys coming into the race? We've got Dr. Cornel West entering as a representative from the People's Party. Ron DeSantis joined. Pence just announced. So it's going to be thick, and I think it's going to come down to the same popularity contest that's been involved with the Republican Party. It sounds like the Democrats are either RFK Jr. or Biden again. I just don't know who else they're going to have.
Yeah, it's going to be as soon as the new year hits and they start more and more of this. I think it's already started. The Trump DeSantis fights are already ongoing. 2 weeks into DeSantis putting his hat in the ring. So I don't know. We'll see what happens and how the crowd thins out. Who takes over and who people are going to vote into primaries to come see.
It's turning into a dogma because everyone was cheering for DeSantis. That is a Trump supporter. And then as soon as he entered the race, they turn his back on him right away. And they're pro-Trump 1010% and no longer supporting DeSantis. It's just really weird because, and I think it's going to come back to bite them because if eventually Trump does get the nomination, I have a feeling that's where he's going for his VP.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. It's so odd. The whole thing and the whole situation. But both sides, both ends are terrible. It's us in kind of in the middle that are going, okay, I kind of don't want just this. I want what's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've always been independent. I've been registered independent for the longest since I was 18, actually, and I've truly always have voted based on the person and not along party lines. But over the last 8 years, last 3 elections, anyways, I have gone more down party lines than the person, and it's just because I feel the Democrats are just kind of they're mailing everything in. They're virtue signaling beyond what it really was meant to be. It's a mess.
Yeah, definitely. It's a weird animal. I kind of hate this time.
Oh, wait until we start getting the phone calls.
Oh, jeez. Well, the best I start getting them in Spanish. I'm like, who the hell are you calling in Spanish?
Yeah.
I think like just because my last name, and then like, oh, vote for this. I'm like, stop. Block. But similar. I mean, I've always been an independent from young age. I was an independent. But again, the last 12 years just push more onto the conservative side.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always kind of leaned a little more conservative, but was always kind of more in the middle. And now I'm kicking more on the conservative side.
I think that's what happens when we get older.
Yeah.
We tend to realize where our tax money is going and realizing that it's being spent the wrong way.
Yeah. Watching 401ks dwindle.
Yeah.
And not that they don't do it with regards to who's in, but it seems like it's been more dwindle happens when there's a D there in front of a name instead of an R.
Well, and how much money has Ukraine received from us? It's
way
stupid.
too much.
It's stupid. all while the border's crumbling. There's just a mad rush of people crossing just willy nilly.
Yeah, and they sent the National Guard down there to process people, not to help secure anything, just help them cross, help them cross.
Yeah,
And then
Tennessee
they get
National
here.
Guard's down there right now.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're sending them to these sanctuary cities, and the sanctuary cities are now getting tired of them now. So they're okay. Well, you want them? Oh no, just keep them in Arizona and Texas. Well, Arizona and Texas doesn't want them.
Blows
Send
my
them to
mind.
California.
They're seeing their policies fail right before their eyes, and they double down.
Yep.
It's my opinion, anyways.
Well, even worse is the ones that leave because taxes and politics have made it impossible to live there, and they leave and go to other states and continue to vote for the same crap they voted for when they were at home.
Yeah.
And I'm a transplant from California, but I don't vote on that line.
Right. Yeah, I want to be taxed less. I want to be able to afford to build a swimming pool in my backyard, like somebody.
Well, that's not happening anytime soon. It's ridiculous. So this house was done 2018, 2019, I believe. 2019, somewhere around there. The base pool package, I have a picture of it from our pool company. Their base pool package was $21,000. Their base pool package now is $34,000.
Wow.
And it has way less than what it had back then. And then when you go to where the base was, you're talking like $39,000. So you're almost double what the pool cost to build from when I built the pool here.
I guess I'm not getting a pool anytime soon.
Oh, it's crazy. You're lucky though. You guys get to put those fiberglass shells get dropped in, and they're seem to be way cheaper than what we have to do here.
Did you have a pool growing up?
For a short time, we lived in a house that did have a pool. But I had the local plunge is what we did on summer days. We walked 3 miles to the pool, swam for a little bit, got kicked out, went to the snack stand, got some food, and then walked home. Or back then there was the original Taco Bell in Monterey Park was our stop. Then we can stop for like 75 cents and eat like freaking kings.
Man, public pools, like, okay, I've been to two different types of public pools. One in the hood, and one in a decently nice area. The differences are amazing. The ghetto public pools don't have a deep end, and if there is a deep end, it's like only like 9 feet. The higher end public pools have a deep end, 12 feet, diving boards, lockers, changing rooms, everything. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the two pools that were closest to us, both were 12 foot. Both had a tall board, and then a short board and a medium board.
Mm-hmm. We had the high schools near us. I think for 2 years they were opened up, and then a kid drowned at one of them, and then there was a stabbing at another, so they shut down.
Was it stabbing in Los Nietos?
No, but it was at Pioneer.
Was it Pioneer? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it wasn't in the pool; it was outside, but it was close enough, and people freaked out, so they just closed the pool for the rest of the summer, and they never reopened it. But it was 25 cents.
Yeah, it's 25 cents. You get the little clothespin with the number on it where your bag was, and you put it, strap it to the inside of your suit, go swim, and then come back, give them this clothespin, and then grab your bag and give it back to you.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I remember at Barnes Park Pool.
It was 25 cents to get in. It was 25 cents for a soda. It was 25 cents for a candy bar. And then there was, I think it was 50 cents for a hot dog. So they had different little snack bars and all that set up. It was all done up by local organizations. It wasn't, it was all like a nonprofit fundraising type thing.
Okay.
So it was always different. There would be an ice cream vendor sometimes. There would be just a hot dog cart sometimes. But they always had soda and candy for sale, just so the kids can get the sugar high, jump in the pool, burn it off.
Sugar up and send them home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the nicer pool, they charge 50 cents to get in, not 25 cents.
Okay. Well, you got to pay for those diving boards an extra 4 feet of pool.
It's more water too.
Pool water isn't cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to go to Barnes Park Pool in Monterey Park, and they had a snack stand that was there, and one of their most famous dishes is strips, and it was just fresh fried corn strips. And then they had this red sauce. It's kind of like El Pato sauce, but it was made. And there's like all these conspiracies about what the recipe is because no one really has a recipe anymore on a few of the old Monterey Park sites on Facebook. And then just freshly fine shredded sharp cheese. It was simple and easy, and it was just a heaping freaking tray of cheese and sauce, and that could get you through the whole day. And I think they were like 70 cents or 75 cents back then.
Oh God.
It was dirt cheap.
Mexican food back in the day was so cheap.
Oh yeah.
Like so cheap. It was like a super, they used to call them a super burrito, double tortilla wrap burritos, $3. And then we used to go to the same place. They had a contest where if you ate the entire 5-pound burrito, you got a voucher for a free one. So of course, high school kids, in their 20s, were drunk and stoned all the time. Hey, let's go get a free burrito. The burrito brothers.
I remember back where it used to be tacos in Mexico, 25-cent tacos, double tortilla. They weren't very large. You could order 12 of them for $3.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't finish 12 of them.
Man.
I'm trying to think of when I first went to King Taco, they were maybe 75 cents a taco.
Mm-hmm.
Burritos were like $4, $5.
And they were big back then too.
And it was a big burrito. Yeah.
And now they're not so big.
Yeah, and you go sit and wait in line and go eat your King Taco burritos, and it'd be dirt cheap and giant, and you couldn't finish it most of the time, and you were happy.
Depends on which King Taco you went to, because if you waited, you might get shot at the one on Cesar Chavez.
Oh, yeah, the only one. That's the only one. Although there is one that I went to recently in Pomona. My parents used to live out in Ontario, and it was not too far from their old house. And I go up there, but burritos are $10, and they're not quite as big. Tacos are like $2.50, and they're still the same size. And it's like, okay, it all changed. Tacos in Mexico. There's a Tacos in Mexico still in Vegas. It's right next to the Strat. There's a Denny's and a Tacos in Mexico there, and I haven't gone there in probably 6-7 years. And the last time the tacos were like $2.
I used to love going to Vegas and just partying all night. And I always used to stay at the Circus because it was dirt cheap, and it was right next to Slots of Fun. And Slots of
Fun, yeah.
Slots of Fun used to have a deal for a quarter. You get a Bloody Mary and a hot dog for a quarter, and it was during
for the regular hot dog. And then they had that giant 1 pound hot dog that was like 50 cents.
Yep. Yeah, and between I think it was 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. or something like that. It was like buy one get one free or something. I can't remember exactly, but I mean it's been over 20 years since I've been there. I hope it's still there because I would love to go back one day.
Trying to think. I believe it was still there because the Circus in that little section there was still intact the last time we were out there. We still go out there pretty regular. Kim's grandparents lived up in Vegas up until Grandpa died 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere around there. And so we had the condo in Vegas that we had to rebuild, and there's a renter in there now. But girls have always gone out with us, so we find something to do, cruise down the strip, go to Circus or whatever. And I think the last time I went to Circus, it was like, okay, we're not coming back here anymore.
I learned to shoot craps.
Something else to do.
I learned to shoot craps at that Slots of Fun. It was the $1 minimum, so that's why I was like, all right, I'll learn here because everywhere else was a $5 minimum. But yeah, I learned to shoot craps at that table.
Nice.
Long time ago. And it was awesome because it was right next to the roll-up door. So on a hot day, you got that breeze. On a cool night, you got that breeze. So it was my favorite spot.
Yeah, the Vegas trips. I don't enjoy those anymore.
Did you ever go on those turnarounds?
The bus turnaround?
Yeah.
I never did Vegas. I did one
State Line.
Like to Laughlin.
Ooh.
And we went to the Colorado Belle. So we left somewhere in Montebello, Monterey Park, super early in the morning. Drive to the Colorado Belle, let you out. You got like 8-10 hours to go fart around and play, and then jump back on the bus and go back home.
Yep. So for everyone that's listening, a turnaround was something that was invented in Southern California. And what they do is they pack a bus full of people. They charge them X amount of dollars for a bus ride to a destination that's 4, 5, 6 hours away. And it's usually a gambling location. They let you out. You get there super early. They let you out. You do your thing for the day. At a certain time, you're supposed to be back on the bus, and then you drive back, and you get back in your car when you arrive, and you go home. And the idea is
you get 5-6 hours to sober up.
Yeah, the idea is you don't have to drive home drunk. You can sleep on the way there, on the way back. You don't have to spend. I mean, back then the gas was like 99 cents a gallon, so it didn't really matter. But you didn't have to burn gas. So there was a lot of incentives to doing it. The downsides to it, I've missed the bus a few times.
Oh.
You just get so wrecked, and you get so caught up into everything. You know, this was back in the day. You didn't have cell phones to tell you what time it was all the time, or an alarm or something like that. So you had to rely on.
You're taking a Greyhound back home?
Well, luckily, I knew a lot of people in Vegas. So
okay.
if I did miss the bus, then it only happened a few times, so it wasn't a big deal. But I would just call up a friend and say, I need to crash on your couch and a ride home tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be definitely a fun adventure to be on, missing a bus. Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah. Well, one time we did it in a car. A friend and I just went to Vegas on a whim. It was on a Saturday morning. I went to his house, and I was like, hey, what's going on today? He was like, nothing. And as a joke, I said, let's go to Vegas. He's like, fuck it. Let's go. I was like, all right, I guess we're going to Vegas. So we went. We gambled. We partied all night. We went to a No Limit Records after party. We went to a few different clubs, and then around 4 a.m., we started thinking to ourselves, all right, we need to start thinking of an exit strategy. How are we going to get out of here? Because we're drunk. So we go back to his car. We try to take a quick nap, 6 a.m. ish. We wake up and start driving back home. And he realizes he's still drunk and he can't drive. And by that time, we're in Bakersfield. And so, well, we pull over. I think it was, oh no, what's
Baker.
Baker. Where that big
Baker,
thermometer,
the giant thermometer.
Yeah, that's where we stopped.
Baker, not Bakersfield.
And we took another nap there, and then drove home the rest of the morning from that point. Slept until the next day to go to work. But that was the great thing about having Vegas, only 3.5 hours, 4 hours away.
Yeah. We did a few of those. I think there was one night, it was like midnight. And my roommates at the time were like, we're going to Vegas. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think I've ever really been to Vegas to go to Vegas. I think I've been there with my parents, and like they went to Vegas and I stayed in a hotel room or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I had never been old enough to gamble and been to Vegas. So we got there at like 4 a.m. Found I think we stayed in a Motel 6. That was the only thing that we could find that was available. Got a room and then walked next door to the casino that was closest to there and gambled till noon. Crashed a little bit in the hotel and then drove home.
It was always a scary thing not being able to find a hotel in Vegas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's plenty of places to just sleep on the ground, but
there's plenty of people sleeping in those places now. Yeah. It's not like it used to be. Yeah, my brother and I went out there to pick up furniture. Grandma and grandpa were moving out of the house and into the condo, and they went from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom condo, and they had a bunch of furniture that grandpa's like, you got to come and get it. You just use it in your house. And we were like, okay. And I was like, I know I'm not using it in my house. What the hell am I even going for? So we rented a U-Haul trailer and drove out there. Me and my brother did. Got there about midnight. Couldn't find a room anywhere. And we tried every place we could go to. No rooms available. So we're like, screw it. We'll just gamble all night. Wait till they get up at 7 a.m. Go have a nap or 2 hours of nap in their house, and then load up and go. I think we got it to about 5 o'clock in the morning, and both of us just like, okay, we're done. So I was like, screw it. We'll just go park in front of the grandma and grandpa's house and crash until they get up. We pull up, and I lean the seat back and start to go to sleep, and next thing, grandpa's pounding on the door.
Oh no.
Get your asses in the fucking house. What are you doing out here? Why don't you just wake me up? Grandpa was just always kind of rowdy like that. He was old Golden Glove from Southern California, and he didn't take no shit.
Yep.
But he was probably a flyweight because he was all of 90 pounds.
You know, it's funny. I've met 2 people in my lifetime that have been boxers in the Navy. I guess the Navy back in the day used to have competitions on the ships. One of them was my grandfather. The other one was my friend's father. And they were both had the same mentality. They don't take shit from anyone. They won't back down from anyone. They'll get in your face, even if you just smirk at them the wrong way. They're just like full of piss and vinegar and just the saltiest person on earth, but also at the same time will smack someone for you in half a second.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. And then grandpa's like that. He wasn't a Navy boxer. He was just a Golden Gloves in the area out there. But he would even like to the homeowners association, he'd be in there, these motherfuckers doing this shit. It was funny. And he's all of 5'6", 90 pounds.
Yeah. That's how they all are or were.
Yep.
Fucking HOAs. Actually, HOA was trending on Twitter last week, and it was funny because there was a bunch of people saying that they should be unlawful, that they should just be banned completely. And there was another bunch of people saying, no, I like it because that means my neighbor has to cut his grass. That means my neighbor has to maintain his fence that's falling down. And now that I'm a new homeowner in an HOA, first time, I can see both sides of it. I want everything around me to be nice, but I don't want someone to be so controlling that I can't do something.
Yeah. Funny you bring this up. We didn't talk about this at all previously. But over the last couple weeks, I've been getting notices from our HOA, and I've been in this house 4 years now, 4 years now, and never had anything. They don't never say anything, never done anything, and then they just started just out of the blue, and then I probably compounded it by we have a Facebook group for the neighborhood.
Yeah, we have one of those.
And the HOA president was on there, and he said something, and I basically just told him he's full of shit. He's just kind of a because that's what I want, and I'm the HOA president, and it's not like the good of the community. It's nothing like that. It's just, this is what I moved here for, and this is what I'm going to be behind. And he started spewing off something, so I just take the CC&Rs and I cut and paste, and I'm like, how are you this HOA president and you don't even know the rules? So if you're going to come here and tell people what you think the rules are, then you should probably know them, or at least halfway quote them correctly. Mm-hmm. So ever since then, I've had 2 more violations that have been on me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So apparently I'm under the microscope right now to get my house, but it's dumb. First is my trailer, travel trailer. I have we have an acre, but what we have walled is only about a half of that. Just because that's what we were going to landscape and maintain as our backyard. The rest we were going to keep open because everyone else was open out here. Well, everyone started building walls, and now there's walls everywhere. So I'm like, screw it. So we have another side yard here that I was going to build a shop on. That prices went up for building the shop. We just held back on the shop. Well, we had the pad re-engineered. I paid someone to come in and move the dirt, make sure it was right. We had a compaction test. They put 30 tons of ABC over it, compacted it. Everything is perfect, ready to go and build on it. Just we're on a hold pattern because I'm not spending that much money for a building right now. Well, I've been parking my travel trailer over there. It's back behind everything. It's not in my front yard. It's not in my side yard. It's kind of like way behind everything, and you can't really see it from the street. You can't see it if you're passing by, and it's been fine. Well, now it's a big deal. Well, it has to be behind a wall. So I've been playing Jenga in the backyard, trying to get trailers and scout bodies and other stuff back behind the wall the proper way, so I can store the travel trailer back behind the wall. And then we had another one because our wall wasn't approved. I'm like, the builder built my wall. How was it not approved? And back then, when we moved in, we were like number 5 in the neighborhood, and the builder built my wall. They were at that point, they were offering to build your wall because they were trying to come in to sell houses. So they were kind of offering you anything you wanted to do. Yeah, no problem. We'll get it taken care of. It just costs us so much money. I'm like, okay, let's just get it done. Well, now HOA is going, well, we don't have any record that you got that approved. I'm like, I don't know. The builder built it, not me. It's not my thing. It was done before I moved in. So I got this back and forth going on with the HOA right now. So, but I get it. Is my wall ugly? Is my wall falling down? No, it's not. It's a new wall. It's a beautiful wall. My landscape is kept properly and clean and perfect. And I have a gardener that comes and trims everything. I got a guy that comes and sprays for weeds. I got a guy that comes and sprays for bugs. So I don't have any nuisances here. and I'm still getting this. I'm like, motherfucker.
So my neighborhood is brand new, just like yours is. And we've been waiting for our permits and HOA approval to put in a privacy fence, just a normal 6-foot white vinyl fence around our backyard for our dog. As we're waiting, we've been moved in at this point for, 4 months now or so. 2 months ago, a neighbor just moved in. 2 weeks later, had their fence put up. And I'm like, how does this happen? Come to find out, they didn't get any city permits. They didn't get HOA approval or anything. So they just put it up. So I was talking to the general contractor in the area about it, and I'm like, so what, is there any repercussions? Can I do that too? Because I'm waiting. He's like, you can do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to make you tear it down. I said, are they going to make them tear it down? He said, yep, they've already sent them a notice. They've been fined by the city. They've been fined by the HOA. I was like, that seems like a little bit much. I said, you're going to make them tear it down and pay 2 different fines. I said, why not just make them pay a fine, make it tear it down?
Pay the fine and submit your architectural review. Like that's what needs to happen. I mean, it's already built. I mean, you're doing vinyl. Really? You guys it's required for a permit for vinyl under 6 foot?
Yeah.
Really?
There's only 2 types we can do: vinyl or iron rod. And that's just
so
HOA
for us
guidelines.
Here. We can do no county permit required for block wall or wood, as long as it's under 6 feet. And you can go anywhere you want, as long as it's on the building setback lines, for full wall. And then on setback lines, you have to do a view fencing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there was one setback line I actually couldn't build on. So we're off of the setback lines, and we have a solid wall around that's 6 foot. But no permits required. So if I need to build a wall, I don't need permits out here, but I do need HOA approval.
I mean, it's not a horrible thing. I mean, it was $15 for the permit and $15 for the HOA submission approval. So, I mean, it's not horrible. I saw in that post anyways, that thread, people being charged enormous amounts for permits, for their HOA approval and everything else. It's insane.
Yeah, there's I think for major building, it was a $500 fee for us originally. Then they changed it to $250. People just complain, like, come on, it doesn't need to be $500. Who needs to do anything really other than look at it? You're not looking at plans. You're not approving plans. That's what the county does, and I already sending money for permits to the county. So if everyone's a volunteer in the HOA and the architectural review board, then who needs to make money here? Yeah. So I get this filing and whatever. Okay, then yeah, $25, $100, that's fine. But $250 for a review where you're not even looking at engineering or anything else like that, and that's not even part of what you're looking at. You're looking at colors and color swatches and if it matches, and looking to make sure that you're seeing the right words that make you feel that whatever's getting built is going to match what's in the community. Like that, why is that $250?
Yeah. The thing that throws me off is our HOA president doesn't even live in our community. And I'm just...
He's an owner?
No, doesn't even own anything. And I was just...
Is he a developer?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. He works for the property management company that maintains the thing.
Yeah, so essentially he's probably set on the board by the developer. So our development, there's 120 houses here. I believe it's 120, 118, somewhere around there. And the developer of this area was the president of the HOA up until we had more than 50% occupancy of the houses sold. As soon as we hit that number, then it moved from him to, okay, you need to vote in board members that are part of the association now. They're homeowners now.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be the fact that you're so new, you haven't gotten to that point where there's enough talent to be voted in.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is pretty new.
That's most likely what it is. If you read the CCNRs, there's usually some sort of article where there's a passive verb between developer, and it may not be the actual developer. It could just be the developer saying, okay, I want this person at the HOA to be the president in my place, and they can do that.
I guess I'm lucky too. Our HOA is only $25 a month.
Yeah, ours isn't bad. I think ours is $100. But it has it's a gated community. We have cameras. We have a system to gain entry. We have to also pave the streets and handle the maintenance inside of the neighborhood also. So It's not bad for what it is. I think our other house was like $200 a month, and our house in California was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think 150 was going to be my threshold for approving different houses that we were looking at. I knew there was no getting around buying a house without an HOA. They're pretty much standard these days. So I went into it with that open mind. So I just made sure that I wanted to make sure the 150 was going to be the cap. There was no secret anything because, set budgets and maintain that budget. So when I saw $25 a month for this place, I was like, oh yeah, that's a huge perk.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. And it's, if it's just centered, just making sure all the neighborhood's right. You don't have a lot of parks. There's no community center, no community pool. You're going to do your own pool. You're going to do your own park, whatever, inside your backyard that you're going to hang out at. And it should be cheap. Like for us, there's no community pool here. There's really no park here. We were supposed to have walking trails, but they before they even completed the build out, they took those out because the developer didn't want to pay for it, the walking trails to get put in. So he's like, okay, we're going to give you guys more property. And everyone's like, okay, we'll take more property. And then you realize that he just took away like the only amenity you're going to get here and didn't change anything with the HOA fees or anything. So it's like, okay, whatever.
God.
But it's definitely one of those things. Back here where I'm at, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I can turn my camera on. You probably can't see it, but there's just a mountain range here. There's nothing from the mile up the hill to where our development ends. You're on a reservation, and then it goes back here this way to the west, and there's more reservation, and there's some houses out there, and there's stuff outside of our neighborhood that's all non-HOA, but you're going to live next to someone that could have a junkyard in the front yard. Like you go like just out of the neighborhood to the left, and there's one house in there, and they've got, I don't know what out there, just piled up crap everywhere. And it's like, well, do you want to live by that, or you want to deal with the HOA giving you crap about where your trailer's parked? I'm like, I'll deal with the trailer getting parked behind the wall.
Yeah. I my neighborhood is basically, I'm at the end of the neighborhood. So bordering me to the south is a farm. Bordering me to the southwest is a farm. And then on the other side is another farm. So it's awesome. I don't have very much noise. Very little traffic coming down my street because it's a cul-de-sac. The noise that I do hear is mostly the turkeys in the birds.
The fields.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear gunshots from the landowners around just shooting their guns and on their property, which I get very jealous of.
Yeah, well, we get that back here too, because out there, there's state trust land to the east, and when first moved out here, we lived about a half mile away, and we backed up to the same state trust line in the other house. And it's in the weekends, all you hear is just the round, just like
Yeah.
you hear the machines, the 50 cals, the ARs, the AKs, and everything just going like giant 100 round clips, just letting off. Just all right, someone's having fun out there.
Yeah. The other night, the wife comes inside from taking the dog out and she says, I heard gunshots. I'm like, well, the good thing about living where we're at now is we know those are gunshots, not in violence.
Yeah, yeah, they're killing a nuisance or dinner
Yeah. Or they're just having fun.
or just having fun,
Yeah.
or it's just Friday night or
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yep. That's the way it goes. Well, I think we're going to have to cut this one short here just because I'm starving. Didn't have lunch. It's a little after 7:00 my time. So
All right, Joe.
big boy needs to eat.
All right, yeah,
So thanks everyone for listening. Until next time.
yeah. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon.